Of course, the most viral moment of the hearing was in response to questioning from Marsha Blackburn. Blackburn asked Jackson about legal distinctions for women in the law, and Jackson refused to provide a definition for woman when asked.
Do you agree between men and women that
My
are
click went haywire. Let's try again.
Do you agree with Justice Ginsburg that there are physical differences between men and women that are enduring?
Respectfully, I am not familiar with that particular quote or case.
Okay. Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a
The
biologist.
meaning of the word.
Okay. Isn't
What
it
did that
strange
woman
how...
say last week? I'm not a vet, but I know what a dog is.
Yeah, I thought it was really crazy how those two news stories collided in consecutive weeks. Because it wasn't just that comparison, but the guy that woman was talking to at the Leah Thomas swim meet said outright to question her, well, are you a biologist? Can you really say what a woman is if you aren't a biologist? Now it's not just the crazy guy in the stands at the Leah Thomas meet. That's soon to be your Supreme Court, next Supreme Court Justice of the United States. But what's amazing, number one, that answer grants the premise that sex is biological. It's not some mystical nonsense. If you need biology expertise, it must be a biological concept. But number two, it actually isn't even a biological question in this context per se. It is, but it's a legal concept here based on a biological concept. So it's really weird for someone in a legal profession to say, well, I can't address that, when as the questions that were asked to her are getting at, it's a distinction in the law that you are asked to apply all the time. What do you mean you can't define it?
Right.
There's all sorts of laws that differentiate and apply or adjudicate discrimination on the basis of sex or
She's sending people
else.
to women's prison and male prison too.
Yes, correct. So if you apply laws that differentiate between men and women all the time, how do you know who's a woman? And to the point of all the memes, how did Biden nominate you since he was specifically picking a woman? What criteria did he use to assess your womanhood? And most frustratingly, in her questioning with Dianne Feinstein, they both went on and on and on about how great it is that a woman has been picked.
Judge Jackson, if confirmed, you would become the sixth woman to ever serve on the Supreme Court. This would be the nearest we have ever come to gender equity on the Supreme Court. There would be 4 women on a court with 9 justices.
I have received so many notes and letters and photos from little girls around the country. They are so excited for this opportunity because I am a woman, because I am a Black woman. All of those things people have said have been really meaningful to them.
I forgot the USA Today fact check earlier about Biden and what he means by all his insane old man ramblings, but this one is even more insane. USA Today takes the cake for most insane fact check of the week. The headline, Marsha Blackburn asked Ketanji Brown Jackson to define woman. Science says that there's no simple answer. You scroll down to an absolutely legendary sentence. Scientists agree there is no sufficient way to clearly define what makes someone a woman. With billions of women on the planet, there is much variation. Okay.
What?
How are you counting the billions of women without sufficient justification to identify the individual one? That's a question. And then as though variation makes something undefinable, there are a lot of different types of cars. I know that 4 wheels and some sort of onboard power mechanism is what makes a car.
Yeah.
Just because there are variations doesn't mean that a car is an undefinable thing. Lots of different types of dogs. I know that canine genetics is what makes something a dog. So it's just so frustrating with the Feinstein stuff there too. Well, in this context, I can't define woman. Also in this context, it's really great that I, as a woman, am here to be nominated to the court. What criteria are you using to assign yourself the category of woman?
Right. Well, I mean, they know that they're not going to be challenged on any of these things. They don't have to be prepared. And they don't have to make any claims that are going to be disputed. It doesn't really matter. She's in. It doesn't matter.
You're probably onto it that they just didn't even care to do the preparation to grant legitimacy to these questions, because that's what was so frustrating to me. It's not that that she has to sit up there and say everything exactly as I would or how I would agree with it, although that would be satisfying. And I think there are some certain ideological litmus tests that should be applied. It's the fact that she was told ahead of time, hey, we're going to ask you about these things because we have concerns about them. And they just apparently didn't even. She said to Josh Hawley at one point, well, I don't remember the specifics of that case. Okay, number one, you were the judge on the case.
I know.
Number
How many
two,
cases she presided over. Not that really matters.
It's hundreds, to be fair. You might forget specific details. But number two, he told you days prior, I'm going to ask you about this specific case, just so you know, because I want a good answer.
Yeah.
And to your point, the preparation wasn't done. So I guess you chalk it up to just not caring because it's irrelevant to the confirmation. But there were a couple